The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
The stats are monstrous. 3,500 yards passing and 32 scores. 1,500 yards rushing and another 37 TDs. But the numbers only scratch the surface of Ryan's importance to his team, the East St. John Wildcats of Reserve, Louisiana, and the team to their community of Laplace. This is their story.
Out of everybody in every parish, every state, every city, every town, thousands of schools, millions of children, your child is number one. That's a blessing.
That was just a perfect game offensively. We clicked on all cylinders. We put up 7 points. That just was a perfect game.
At halftime, Ryan was presented his U.S. Army All-American jersey.
27 out of 36 for 484 and 14 TDs and 16 rush for 118 and 14 TDs. That's a career night, boy. He's a great player.
I'm smashed. Yeah, I'm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy. We got a great show for you all tonight. I'm joined by my two coaches you can catch on CrescentCitySports.com, George Peppers and VK Jones. But tonight, we have one of the greatest players ever in the state of Louisiana. This guy here was phenomenal as the quarterback at East St. John High School, where he set many records. He then went on to play at LSU and Jacksonville State University. He's also a Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants. And recently, he was inducted into the LHSAA Hall of Fame, which was well deserved because it was well earned. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for tonight, the one, the only, Ryan Perrilloux. Ryan Perrilloux, what's up, man?
Man, how y'all doing, man? Thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate you. Let's get right to it. Ryan, I talk about you all the time to people, seeing you play at East St. John, and it was just phenomenal watching you play. But what is the reason that got you into playing football?
When honestly, there was no real reason. I was just outside one day, just playing around outside, and then, you know, a coach came by, named Coach Eric Rod, and I was outside just playing around myself. You know, growing up in the 90s, it was tough. So he asked me about I like to play first, and then would you mind me doing his football? And the heat, and that's pretty much how I got started. I was about 16 years old, and just been kicking and rolling since.
like we said, you played at East St. John. Throughout your career at East St. John, what would you say is your most memorable game?
Connection.
Can you hear me?
Awesome.
Lost him for a second. Let's get him back.
He might have to, hopefully say the answer because we looked like we had a little technical difficulties with him a little bit when he.
There he
It,
is.
Can you
it,
hear
it
me
looked
now?
like something happened quickly, guys. But basically, what I was saying was, I got founded just playing outside in La Place. I was just playing outside in my yard, and a coach was driving by named Coach Eric Rogers. And he asked if I could play sports. I said I would love to. And he came ask my mom to join his football club. He created an organization called Heat, and that's how I got started. That's kind of what made me say, okay, I want to play ball. Cause at first I was just outside playing.
Like we mentioned earlier, you played at East St. John High School, set many records. Throughout your career at East St. John, what would you say is your most memorable game?
Oh, so many, so many. Uh, it's so many. But I could look at Evangel because that was my last game as memorable, and I could look at my very first start as memorable. But it was never nothing like going out there against those against those Homeville guys and those Dexter guys. That's the memorable nights right there. They're in town and they producing some of the top athletes as well. And everybody, all the stores closed. You can't even go to Burger King.
Yes, indeed. It's funny because when I talked to Brian Lee, we talked to him last year during this time, and Brian Lee always mentioned the games that he played against you all the time. And I know you know who Brian Lee is from Hornville.
Oh yeah, Brian Lee is my arch enemy. Brian Lee, Brian Lee. We every time we see each other, we joke it out and hash it out. And Flowers do what they do. Brian was, he was a great guy. You know what I'm saying? And so circumstances sometimes could hold a kid back, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later in the show. But that's just how it be. I think that could be me, guys, as well. But I just, Brian, just to talk about him a little bit. Me and him went to all the camps together in Louisiana, and he was always right up at the top with me. And the thing is that I was still ranked way higher than him, but he still beats me in the regular season. That's weird, huh?
It is weird because he always says, I got two on him, and he has zero against me.
Yeah, that's him. That's his story too. He gonna stick by it too, Steve Kerr.
uh, Let me ask you this, Ryan. Throughout your recruiting days, you had verbally committed to Texas, verbally. And then at your press conference, you made the flip to LSU. What was it that made you change your mind and say, I'm going to LSU?
Ooh, that was one of the biggest decisions I ever had to make in my life because I made it that day. I called Texas, talked to Coach Austin, um, Coach Brown, and I told them, I had to change my mind. They was hurt because they had to put the energy into me. But what made me change my mind was at the very end of that recruiting process, your family get on you hard. You start thinking about your family, leaving home, the distance between, and I look at it these days, and they ask me like, Ryan, for real, why you left? I know I left because it could have been a family, and I left because it could have been of a lot of things. But I wanted to go play against the best players in the country, and that was the SEC. That's why I went to LSU to go play against the best talent. They consider me the best, so I wanted to go play against the best talent.
Um, During that press conference, you did say that you would win the Heisman your freshman year, and they asked you about Jamarcus, and you said Jamarcus who? Being older now, do you regret saying that, or do you still feel a certain way about how you said it when you said it?
Well, yeah, you don't regret too much, you know what I'm saying? But what you do is you can look back and grow from it. And what I did was I looked back and said you could have worded that different, like, maybe in the next 4 years. You know, and instead of being so straightforward and just so straight, like I'm going to get it right then and there, not exactly knowing what to expect. You know, those guys been there 2, 3 years. They've been in the weight room. They know the playbook. They ready. Coaches already love them. The players, they got a bond. You got to go and break through a big barrier before anybody even respect you, even though you're the number one player in the country. It's not like it is today when you come out of high school with a whole bunch of hype and you walk in on campus. Art Maryland learned a lesson.
Yeah,
You know, that's the lesson I learned. You got to go sit
definitely.
down. And guess what? He
Speaking
he
of
didn't leave Texas, right?
right, he's
He
still there.
that's what separates him from the other guys. That's what separates him.
Let me ask you this.
So not disturb. It's on do
Can you
not
hear me,
disturb,
Ryan?
guys.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear us?
I think he was adjusting something, Jared. I'm not sure if he can hear us.
Let's have him log out, log back in. Let me get him back in here right quick.
Hmm.
'Cause I don't know what happened, but we'll get him right back. I got this.
I think his phone out of range again. Because he was saying he
He
was
said,
trying to put the do not disturb on it.
Yeah, I heard that too.
okay, we'll get him back. We'll get him back. You can log out, log back in, Ryan. Log out, log back in right quick, Ryan. Log out, log back in. We can get you. You can. Log out, log back in.
Send him a text.
I did. I did. I did.
Okay.
I did.
Hope he gets it because he set his phone on DND. So
Yeah, he got it. He got it. Let me see. I can write a chat right quick. Get him back because he can't hear me. And I'm talking to him.
right. God bless the internet.
It's not his fault.
No, it's not at all.
Mm-mm. Get him back.
And ladies and gentlemen, you are watching
Y'all
the
back?
Hash It Out show right here on
Can you hear
Facebook.
me?
He's got it. We got him.
No, he can't hear us still. He still can't hear us. But I
I
got it right
thought he
here.
said.
Log out, log back in. So we can get him back like that.
There he goes. He's going out.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, he can hear us now. All right, cool, cool.
Okay.
All
Yes,
right.
I have my phone on do not disturb, but they still trying to get through.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Ryan,
try
Persistent.
to
you're
call and get
popular,
through just
important.
now. Huh?
You're a popular, important man, man.
Man.
All right. So, being a starter for years at East St. John, you get to LSU and they tell you they're going to redshirt you. How were you able to deal with that?
Oh, it was tough. Um, cause I was a three-sport athlete, playing basketball, baseball, and football, and summer league baseball, summer league basketball, summer football, just sports all year round. And then when I get to LSU, it's like, okay, you redshirt, so I'm not starting for the job, and I don't have nothing else to do but just train. But after training, there's nothing to do. School, then after school, there's to do. And I found myself kind of losing a little bit of myself, getting, just kind of getting off of that road. Not too far, but just enough to what people notice.
Understand? The following year, it's a battle between you and Matt Flynn for the starting job. Matt Flynn wins the starting job. Once again, how are we able to deal with being the backup to Matt Flynn?
Well, when you the backup, you're the backup.
Yeah,
So when you're dealing with being a backup, is how are you going to make the starter better and be ready when your number call? You got to do both at the same time. So you got to continue to support that starter because if he win, you win. But if something happened to him, you have to be the extension, or if not better. So I always supported Flynn. It was never a problem. It was never an issue. Me and Flynn sat in that quarterback room for a lot of years. You know, just me and him sometimes. You know, for a long time we couldn't even sign a quarterback at LSU.
Right.
So it was just me, Jamarcus, and Flynn. Then when Jamarcus left, it was just me and Flynn. And then Jared Lee came in.
Your first career start was against Middle Tennessee. What was your reaction when you got the news that you were going to start that game?
Just ready to rock and roll, put my talents on stage, let the world see what's been behind these closed doors. And I felt like I did that at a, you know, I did it well. My teammates were supporting me. My coaches were supporting me. And you know, I went out there and I just did my job. That's all they ask you to do is your job. And I went out there, you know, hitting Brandon LaFleur and Demetriusburg. I think I broke a stadium record of hitting 17 in a row that night. And for first career starter. And I was excited. You know, threw a couple touchdowns, threw for about close to 300, and I felt good about it.
SEC championship game. Matt Flynn is hurt. You get the call again. What was your thoughts when the coaches told you were starting, and then the reaction after the game when y'all won the SEC championship and you were named MVP?
Well, my thoughts when Coach them first told me I was gonna be the guy. Of course, I'm excited. I'm feeling like Middle Tennessee now. This is my chance to go showcase my talents against another Tennessee school, but at the same time, this the biggest stage in the world right now. So composure, my teammates, my coaches. We get together, we work the game plan so much. I always tell guys when you nervous, work the game plan. When you get nervous, get in the playbook. You know, cause in the game, you know, when all of the lights and the atmosphere hit, the only thing you can resort back to is your teammates, your coaches, and that book. And for us, that book not the Bible. We call it our Bible, so I guess it is. And we were just spot on as a team that night. And my reaction was before the game when we get there, it looked like I wasn't gonna start. Flynn came out that tunnel. I'm like, oh, Flynn, you in practice all week. Flynn, you in practice all week. And you know, my teammates talking about, man, Lou, that's messed up. I'm like, man, it's all right. And then like right before the very first snap, coach said, come on, Lou, let's go. And Wands, that was my nickname, Wands. Let's go, Wands. And I was crunk, kept my composure, and went out there and did my job. You know, the job is to go get the W. Everybody out
Right.
there be looking for numbers and good blocks. All that don't matter to me if we don't win. Coaches look for winners.
George Peppers, I pass it on to you, my friend.
Ryan Perrilloux, thank you for taking the time to joining us on our as our first guest of our second annual Legends Month. And you, I'm going to say it to you because I've seen you play in high school, and I think you're one of the greatest to ever play in the state of Louisiana, and that is to me an unbridled fact. And it is a pleasure to have you on.
Thank
I want to
you.
go back to your high school days to East St. John and talk about Larry Dotrieve, your head coach. Laurie,
Well,
Laurie
coach,
Dotrieve. Talk about how much of an influence he was to you in your younger years, and how much he helped you mature as you went through East St. John into your high school years.
well, Coach Doe wasn't your typical high school coach. Coach Doe had pro experience. Coach had been coached in Canada with
Yep.
Doug Flutie. Coach had done traveled the land coaching, and
Hmm.
Coach had done already won a bunch of state championships. When Coach saw me, the first thing Coach said, "Oh, we got something here. We're gonna have fun. We better go have fun." And Coach opened that offense up for me. He saw something in me, and what I saw in Coach was he was not afraid. Coach didn't mind going to put 60 and 70 on you. He didn't care what the parents thought because if you know, he was just like, you know what, we're playing football out here. And coach, a hell of a coach. He's a Hall of Famer as well. And to me, one of the best to ever do it in Louisiana. You know, Coach 83 years old. Coach the man. Coach still can run.
Mm. I'll say this: he was never afraid to in his coaching years. That guy would
Oh
schedule
no.
the kings of yeah. Y'all weren't playing cupcakes. I can tell you that for sure. You guys were playing some big time opponents. And how much do you think that helped you uh, as you prepping for college? playing those
Well,
those big opponents, and then of course the Bayou District being what it is, River Parishes. I mean,
well, you got to think playing against LaRon Landry and Darius Renard and them, Jai Eugene, all of those big guys, Tyson Jackson and them guys. You know, I was playing against all D1 top notch talent my whole career. That's why, like, you know, when people see me, they be like, "You put up them numbers against some real big time guys." Well, you know, that's what you do. You know, because that's what college is. Everybody become kind of on an even slate. And then once you get to the pros, the slate get even more thinner. And but I feel good about playing that what Coach Dotrieve did, and that's why I chose LSU. You know, I played against the best competition in high school for 4 years. I won't go
hmm
play. I won't go play against the Bamas and the Auburns and the Floridas and the Georgias. I won't go play them week in and week out, and then we could go schedule something outside of that. So what I tell these top athletes these days is like, you know, you got to think about where you at in your mind. You know, you gonna follow your daddy and go to Washington State, or you gonna go play some big time football where the big time football is being played.
okay. Who's been the biggest influence in your life
Other than God,
other than God?
uh, my mother, seeing what she had to go through to raise three boys and one girl by herself.
hmm
Outside of my mom, my brother Romel, just seeing him have a college career that got cut short, but being able to turn around and put his energy back into me, his little brother, and then my coaches. Everything else fall on my coaches, all of them, because I didn't have just one coach that just said they
No.
love Ryan Perrilloux. I have a bunch of great coaches in my corner from starting with Eric Rodgers and Larry Dotrieve and Jimbo Fisher, Garrett Crowder, Nick Saban, um, Tom Coughlin, Kevin Gilbrand, Todd Monken. I've been coached by all Hall of Fame great coaches. So like even with my passing academy, I always tell kids when you come out to my passing academy, you know, like what you're getting is you're getting a plethora of great minds and great instincts of the game. You learning more than I'm just actually putting your body through a physical routine. That's what your strength and conditioning coach is for.
hmm
You know, that's why Coach Jimbo not a strength and conditioning coach. That's why Coach Moffitt the strength and conditioning coach. You know, you come to me to learn the game and understand and how to make instinctive moves and be able to react. So my influences is start with those and then my coaches. Um, you know, I don't really have too many teachers that I can say was my influence. You know, my greatest teacher was my coaches. That was my greatest teachers.
Okay.
You know,
You're your own quarterback. But when you watched as a young kid, who did you idolize at quarterback, and who did you want to kind of emulate and pattern yourself after?
Charlie Ward. Um, Charlie Ward is who I emulated my game after. That's where the drop. That's where the drop step come at. You know, the pump pop pump
hmm
pop. All that come from Charlie Ward. I studied a lot of his film. I love him as a man and a person. I love him as a great athlete. He just like me, multi-sport athlete. Um, you know, how you go win a Heisman and still just say I'm gonna go first round in basketball. So that's why I model my game around. He had a lot of adversity. They always doubted him with his passing ability, but he was both. He was a dual threat. You know, he was a Ryan Perrilloux and a Lamar Jackson and a Michael Vick before all of us. He was the man, and he was a Heisman. He's one of the greatest standout players that I ever saw, and that's why I mimicked my game after when I was coming up.
I won't argue that because he also is a very good basketball player too. Played with the New York Knicks for a number of
Yes,
years as well. So to me, I mean, he's one. I like that. I like that about that comparison. You're a bigger version. Yeah, I think you had a lighter arm than Charlie, but both of y'all were really good. Do you still keep in touch with your teammates from East St. John and LSU?
yes. We're a tight group.
Okay.
We're a tight group. I still talk to all my teammates, not all of them, but the group. Is you know, you gotta select a few guys that you know. The football team is pretty big, you know, so guys go into different groups, and I still keep in contact with my groups, and our groups all come together. And God bless my friend Raheem who just passed away. He was my roommate at LSU, and we had a
hmm
chance to all come together for him as well. A lot of support, everybody from LSU in the surrounding areas, from high school, St. Aug, everybody. It was just a beautiful thing, and so yeah, the teammates are close. And then by winning championships the way we won them, we get to come together every few years anyway and do reunions, and we do tailgates every week at LSU during the season.
Mm.
It's just a beautiful thing. You know, them guys all doing good, got families, children getting ready to go to college. It's beautiful.
College football has changed a lot since you came through the doors of Baton Rouge. You have the NIL and all this stuff and super conferences, completely different world than what you played in. How do you think that's helped or hurt college football? Do you think that's helped college football? Do you think it hurts? I know the money's there, but as far as competitive aspect, talk about that aspect of it now. Obviously, you played in a different world back in those days, but now it's you know NIL. They're millionaires before they hit the campus. Talk about that.
Oh, that's. I'm glad they're getting their money. But as far as super conferences, you know, are they a super conference? You know, because they got little teams out here that's
Hmm.
really nice. But when you think about the SEC, that conference is undeniable right now, the best conference in football. And they made it that way. That's why if you know that the SEC is where you need to try to get your child at.
Last
I'm not saying
question.
nothing
Oh, I'm
wrong
sorry.
with
Go
these
ahead.
other schools, and I could be being a little biased because I'm an LSU guy, so I could be being a little biased.
Yes.
But I'm just saying that you're not going to Georgia, LSU. You know, if you're not going to play against these first round picks, you know, we're gonna look at all these first round picks first before we get to you. You know,
Hmm.
that's what the world it came to. We thought parity was
Hmm.
coming. We thought we created parity in our era to where guys could come from
Right.
all over. Mm-mm. But to be coming from the super conferences, these millionaire guys that got a big name in college going to the NFL because that's what it is. Name and mention likeness. So you're gonna get that's what it is. You got bought already.
Right. Last question. You really carry yourself well, and I'm very impressed by you. Have you ever thought about getting into coaching at some point, or do you just feel content to where you are right now?
I coach. I coach kids. I have a few quarterbacks that I train throughout the year each year. I'm just very private with what I do. But I work very closely with Marlon Favorite, with Conquer Sports. I also have PPA, the Perrilloux Passing Academy. Uh, I have my um I have my lines, you know, and I do what I do. I kind of just stay out the way, and I train the kids that really want to work. You have to want it, you know. If your mama late, you can't be late. You know, you got to find a way to get there. You can ask
Hmm.
your neighbor. You can ask, it's about how much do you want it to be a part of what I got going on over here. You know, you can't miss practice because you want to go to a birthday party and you want to go out and swimming and stuff. You know, it's like this game take a lot of time and energy. A lot of these guys that make it, yeah, they have fun, but they have fun after the championship.
3K Jones.
Man, Mr. Perrilloux, it is good to have you on the show and everything. First of all, I seen you like I always kept up with your highlights at East St. John. I remember I seen you live the playoff game against St. Augustine. And I mean,
Oh, that was a
that
game.
game was unbelievable in itself. You against I forgot the quarterback's name from St. Aug at the time. He was a freshman. And I mean, it was an unbelievable ball game that you guys came up with that win at the end and everything else. And what was funny is people was joking in the stands and was saying, "Man, the man got Slickum on his jersey, man. They can't get him down, you know." But you were amazing in itself, my friend, and I want to tell you that. And I know a couple of people that know you, and I heard a lot of great things. I'm very proud that you're coming a long way, that you're doing what you got to do going forward, especially giving back to the game itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, just to talk on that
Yeah.
St. Aug
So
game, I was out there that night. Boy, you got Raheem. God bless his soul. You feel me? God bless. I just talked about Raheem,
King
but
Jala.
Chad
Yeah.
Jones out there. That defense had 9 out of 11 guys go D1, and I'm talking about SEC D1, Auburn, Bam, LSU, Florida. That was a squad, bro. And that quarterback, I can't remember his name either, but he was a track star as well, though.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue because I I think my cousin was telling me about him, and I mean, the thing about him, very good athlete in itself. He can make plays. I don't know. His arm was okay, but it was just the fact that he can make plays some way, somehow. And I remember he went against Hanville the year before and came up short in that one too. So he was an amazing athlete in itself. But regardless of the fact, I mean, the first question I want to ask you, what it meant for you to represent and play for East St. John High School, especially representing that the Place reserve area, and especially getting East St. John on the map, because a long time ago, and I'm 45. Back in the day, it was in the super duper JP district with the North Shore, but they came out of it, and a coach besides Larry Dotrieve, a coach named, I believe it is what was Hanville's coach, Jared, who won the state
Lou
championship?
Valden
Wow.
Lou
and
Bowden.
Barbier.
Lou Bowden. Lou Bowden came and turned it around, and then all of a sudden, Dotrieve got things going and got East St. John on the map. What are your thoughts on your time in East St. John and what it meant for you to represent them?
Well, like to represent the hometown school is always the biggest thing in the world, because then once you gain the love of the world. And when I came back to East St. John, it was such a beauty because playing recreational ball here in St. John life, we always go out and win nationals every year. And I come home with the MVPs, and my teammates come home with All Americans, and we just is always winning and winning. And then I left him with John Curtis for 2 years. But at some point, my mother and my brother made a decision to say, you know what, we're gonna bring Ryan back to the hometown school. And now let's, be back a part of the community, because, the hardest thing, that's why I couldn't leave LSU. The hardest thing is to go make another community rich. Or go make another community happen is when you have your own community. And a lot of that came into my decisions. It's like, I love John Curtis. Didn't know how much I loved them, but decisions had to be made. I'm only 14 years old. I wasn't making them. So, but now that I'm older, I see why decisions were made. That's just how it goes.
Absolutely. I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you this. I know you went through some things when you was at LSU. Some things that were situations that were beyond your control and everything else. Did you have any thoughts at the time of maybe I could have been better off like going to the other school, knowing the stuff you went through at that time? Did it make you have a little bit of second thoughts of your choice, or you don't regret at all in your time at LSU at all?
No. I'm a Peach Bowl champ, Sugar Bowl champ, SEC champ, 2 time to the SEC, 1 time winner SEC, and 1 time SEC MVP. The 1 time we won it, a national champ. I, the love, the baseball team, the best in the world. Basketball been the best. Simone Augustus' statue just got revealed. We got injuries just left out. We just had one of the best quarterbacks in the world come out in Jaden Daniels. I would never leave. I would never regret none of those decisions. Even and the would give you no regret is you went to the other school at Jacksonville State and you played too. And guess what? They're D1 now.
Yep.
Some of the best talent going to Jacksonville State, brand new stadiums and stuff. They started building that when I was there, so we couldn't fit nobody else. It was a beautiful thing in Jacksonville State. Just to talk about Jacksonville State, the best experience I could have ever had when it comes to transferring schools. They
Absolutely. I
sit
mean,
right. They
let's
sit right in between Auburn. And they sit right there between Louisiana and Bama at the north.
and is
Atlanta
in
right
Oxford.
there. Oxford. That's Jacksonville State. Right in Jacksonville. Get off on Oxford, drive down through Anniston.
Yep.
You get through there, and then but when you get to campus, it's huge, and them guys could play
I,
down there. That was another great decision I made, and when I had to transfer out of LSU, Jacksonville State.
yes, and let's talk about that time in Jacksonville State. And I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember times I had to make drives to North Carolina, and I usually pass by Oxford and looking at the campus in itself, Jacksonville State. how big that campus is and everything else. And your time, you had some great numbers and you really shined out here. And I believe y'all had a big upset victory. I believe y'all beat Ole Miss in overtime, I believe.
Yes, then let
Am I-
me tell you. Let me tell you how funny that is. When I first got to Jacksonville State, the quarterback that came in with me was supposed to be the starting quarterback until I came, and he was a full-time state championship winning quarterback out of Atlanta named Marquez Ivory. And when I got that, see Marquez, I said it's gonna be okay, Marquez. Just sit back and relax. It's my time.
Wow.
My time to shine. So he sit back and relax, right? We do 2 years. I'm a great friend and a great quarterback as well. I would let Quez, come in and get a series every half, no matter what situation is. He's promised his series each half. We could be up or down, you know. So I leave and go off to play pro ball. I'm in Hartford, Connecticut. Coach Chris Palmer, my coach right now at the time, quarterback guru, Coach Eli, up in New York in 2007 when they won the Super Bowl. And I'm looking on TV, they done went out there and beat Ole Miss without me. Without me. That's the type of talent Jacksonville State has at that school. That's the type of program they develop. They got guys. So like kids out here, they got other schools that's so similar in talent to these big schools. You just gotta find them. And just so happened, by standing up top, I found that diamond.
Indeed. And you gotta love the FCS division. That's very, very good football out there, regardless of the fact. You're gonna find somebody in that division. I know you had a lot of
FBS now,
growing.
BK. FBS
Huh?
now. They FBS now.
They
Now
FBS
what I
now, they
just said.
D1. No, they're not
Oh,
FCS no
now
more.
I know they're
You-
not
you-
I know they're not FBS no more, but I'm talking about overall, like the overall
You said from
division
back
in
in the
itself.
day. I got you.
Back in the day, and even now, there's still good football. Jacksonville State has really emerged. They went behind the
Coach Rich Rod over
Appalachian
there.
State. Yeah,
Rich
they went
Rodriguez over
behind
there
it.
right now. Rick got him rolling too.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
and they won over 10 games last season. And then also you look at it, they're coming behind the Appalachian States, the Coastal Carolinas. They're really making an impact. The Georgia Southerns.
When I,
So
when I got that,
but
when I got that, it just came off of 2, 4, and 6 seasons. No quarterback, facilities in shambles, all of that.
mm,
And then that same year, when they seen 30,000 people come out to watch a ball game, the remodeling got going right then and there.
mm,
And guess what? They remodeled for a reason. Because guess why now? Rick Rodriguez, their head coach now. See, I had Jack Crow. Jack Crow was the man. Jack Crow, one of the
Mm-hmm.
best coaches I ever ran across. He coached Bo Jackson, him and Oval James down in Auburn. Like Oval James is a legendary coach down there in Auburn. Jack Crow, legendary coaches. He was the head coach at Arkansas. Uh, you know, I'm blessed, and that's what I tell kids. Who you want to be your coach? You're looking at all these glitz and glamours and all of these balloons and this glitter. Who coaching you? Like, what did your coach do? Like, if you're a young guy, he had to make it. He had to be honest and say, "I'm a young guy." He didn't come out there coaching you like he Tom Coughlin, and he not. I ask kids how you want to be remembered. I'm remembered whether I'm or not. My coaches remember me, and I've been coached by some of the best.
wow, amazing. You've been through a lot of growth in your life. You've been, continuing to grow as a man in itself, with a family and all that, and you continue to thrive in your life and everything. What moment really was a huge change in your life?
Oh, I got many of those. It could have been when I got shot twice. It could have been when I tore my ACL. It could have been when I broke my hands up and I was out for 10 months. It could have been when LSU kicked me out of school. It could have been when I got cut from the first ball club ever. It's like But all of those moments was defining, big or small. So it's just like how you make those moments, grow. How you grow from them. You can't dwell on them, or you're gonna be stuck in that place. So you move forward. And so I can't put my hand on one moment, because every moment I shattered it and I let it go and it blew in the wind. And I just keep on moving forward.
You just been working so much and everything. You also finished school as well. You finished college with a degree, and I believe it is in mental health and everything. You know,
So
and how
sociology.
social sociology. So so far that the stuff you went through, but then on top of that, you look at the change in society and everything else. A lot of people now being transparent, but not just that. Trying to get help and try to get themselves together because a lot of people go through traumas in their life and everything else. And everything. But how you look at things now more than anything else that people are trying to finally get help because back in the day, our families didn't really truly believe that. But now, more than anything else, that
It's
you
real.
know,
The
we're
stigma,
yearning for the help. Yes.
the stigmas, the judgmentals. Like stigmas is this. It's like a person that look at you and they say, you know what? I know he going on ride his coattail, but when he don't go and he fall a little bit, they keep him in that place where he fell instead of seeing the person that they saw. And judging, judgmental people. Like people don't know how to attack a situation. These athletes out here, and I'm talking straight to my athletes right now. I know y'all going through it sometime at home with your family and with your friends, because you know what? They think that, you done fell off. But you ain't fall off. You just getting better and growing, brother. And you just gotta keep on working. You know, it's nothing for a friend to take action with you, mother, brother, to say, you know what? I keep talking at you and I keep treating you away instead of saying, let me take you and help you. See, action is what is action and help is the same thing. If I'm helping you, I'm taking action. If I'm talking to you, I'm not doing nothing. Many people can speak, but not many people can take action. And I don't like the fact that athletes have to go through so much of that. So many people, so many athletes have to go home, and they go home so their confidence be gone when they get home, because so much high expectations was set for them. And instead of when they getting home, the people telling them they all right and hugging them and throwing them a party and saying, "Come on, it's gonna be all right," and taking action and to help develop their mental health to maintain their confidence, they tear them down, and that's horrible for our society. And it's not just happening to black people; it's happening to all athletes, boxers, soccer, golf. It's happening swimmers. It's happening to them all. And you got to realize we are human. We can't play the game forever. And once I think the real world get their eyes on that, they'll know, like, okay, when I see an athlete in the street, let me just go shake his hand and say hello, because I know one thing. I know it'd have been tough for me to go out there and try it. You might think it's easy to try it now because mentally you think you could try it, but it don't work like that. It takes so much time to develop into that type of person. Energy, hard work, dedication, toughness, effort, discipline. Eyes on the prize, wins, losses. You keep on. That's what I got to say about that. So for all my fellas out struggling with your mental health, just know one thing. You can always hit up Ryan Perrilloux. I got my own mental health thing going on over here. If you need somebody to talk to, you can hit me on the line. I'm gonna send y'all my information, and we can get it going. I got my family with the NFLPA. Shouts out to the NFLPA for helping me get my mental health license and certifications. Shouts out Jacksonville State. Giving me an opportunity to finish up my schooling in social English and community science. And I just want to thank God first for keeping me living, because I almost got out of here at 14. And these shows, I appreciate them so the world could hear from somebody like myself who didn't have to be here, that I appreciate them and that the best is yet to come.
Man, I gotta, commend you on that more than anything else because
Definitely.
a lot of people back in the day said a lot of things about you, and some things weren't good. But for you to just say, "Hey, I don't really care what anybody thinks. but for you to continue to grow and be transparent and knowing that to get yourself together as a whole, as a person, knowing that you're a human being and getting yourself together, I'm very, very proud of that. I'm saying that as myself had to go through counseling and went through some traumatic moments in my life that, you know, bro, I'm very proud of the man that you've become. Straight up, man. So I
Thank
want
you.
to tell you
Thank
that. Just gotta ask you this last question. I'm gonna give it back to JB Board. I didn't ask this to a couple of past LSU people, and I'm wondering where you're gonna take this one. I'm wondering because everybody say that same answer, which is a good answer. Okay, which was the best, in your opinion, your best LSU football team? Was
you.
it
The best LSU football player,
football
football
team?
player.
Football team? Nah, team. We talking
Well, hey,
about
I'm gonna tell you like this right here. You know, it was something about that '07 team I can't take away from them guys. Now, if you want to talk record and all of that, and hype, and all of the new technology, we got to go with 19. But that '03 team was bad now. That '03 team was a bad mamma jamma now. I don't know how they split that with USC, but that '03 team has some talent. But I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
'07. I'm gonna go with '07.
that's a good answer. I knew you was gonna probably stick to your team more than anything else, and I really liked that response that you kept talked about you when you talked about 19 because a couple of answers that the guys was talking about, they talked about the 2017 team it came so close, and I think it was in 2017, Jared, that they lost to Bama in the national championship, or was it
Oh,
2011.
2011.
2011.
2011?
Six
2011.
nothing.
Yes, because that's what a lot of the guys we interviewed said. They said the 2019 was great, but they said something about that 2011. And if they would have won it, it'd have been history in itself. So, I still think that, all these national championship teams was awesome. I still ain't forget the '03. I can't forget about the '07, especially how you got LSU in that position in that SEC championship game. And for them to take Ohio State and put them in the woodshed, you know what I'm saying, like y'all
Yeah.
did. But at the same time, I always would say that 2019 is probably the greatest Tiger team we ever seen. But if the 2011 team would have won it all, it would have been kind of a tie. If
It would have
if,
had to
if
be
it
a
would have
tie
been
because it would have
19,
been undefeated.
yes,
There you go.
exactly,
But just to show, it was a different show though with 19. Or 19 was putting on the show.
yes,
Definitely.
sir.
19 beat the 19 just beat the best teams in the country, just back to
Yes, they
back to
did.
back. You
Oh
know, and if
yeah.
you want to think about it realistically, we can't say that if you put numbers on the side of it. But me, I'm being biased. '07 was the best ball club ever, and I need to see them beat us. We have to line up one day. You know, they gonna do it when they gotta put it. They gotta put a simulator together and see.
Look, man, y'all played some good teams too. I mean, Darren
I
McFadden
did.
at Arkansas, um,
Kentucky.
Kentucky,
Andre
Jared
Kentucky, Andre
Woodson,
Woodson,
Woodson.
yeah,
Tim
Tebow
Tebow, Percy
at Florida.
Harvin.
Yeah,
Man, we was playing against monsters. I'm talking
And
about
and I,
straight monsters.
and I
All
ain't
the
gonna
monsters
lie
came
that
from LSU when the draft came. All the monsters was coming from LSU.
yeah,
exactly. I think, and I ain't gonna lie, that Florida game in Baton Rouge, that particular year in '07,
The
to
four fourth
me,
downs.
the best LSU
Yes.
game I've ever seen. I've never seen a game like this when both teams just went at it for 4 quarters and it just ended the way it did. And I was like, this is the best LSU game I've ever seen. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
I do, Jared. I do have one final question from
go
me.
ahead, go ahead.
Ryan, we talk about the 2007 team, and y'all beat Tennessee to win the SEC championship, but you still needed a 4 touchdown Pittsburgh to knock out West Virginia and Rich Rodriguez, who we love. How big of a fan of you
And
with the
why Rich
Panthers?
Rodriguez coaching at Jacksonville State right now? Come on now, Lord.
I know. I
That's
know,
what I'm saying.
but I'm saying
That's how the
he was
world
the coach
works.
of West Virginia, and they lost that game at home
He was
against Pitt.
coaching West Virginia. My friend Darius Renard,
Yep.
who played right there at Homeville, was there. They got beat. Bull, I ended up playing with him, the quarterback. Man, they just got lucky. They just 27, I think it was. It was just
Something like that.
and we on the plane on the way back, and it was like we going to the ship. They lost that game. Two
At
teams
that
lost
point,
too.
I knew, Ryan, at that point, and I'll close on this and turn it back to Jared. At that point, when Pitt beat West Virginia, I said LSU is not losing in New Orleans to Ohio State. I knew y'all were going to win. It was just a matter of naming the number. I thought that
Yeah,
Ohio State had no shot, and they had a hell of a back on their team, Chris Wells, Beanie Wells,
yeah.
on that
They had
Ohio
Wells.
State team.
They had a great linebacker in Leonidas. They had a
James
couple guys.
Laurinaitis.
They had
Hmm.
a couple guys. They were just kind of big. They couldn't stop trending at all. Keelan.
Trendon was
They
a
couldn't they
record.
couldn't stop
Was
Brandon LaFell or
man?
Bird. It
No.
just got they went up on us like 10-3, but it just got ugly after that.
It's funny because my uncle knows Danny McCray, and when
Oh yeah,
LSU
Dan
lost,
McCray. Yeah, Dan McCray, great
yeah,
player.
yes sir,
Dan a great player.
yeah. My uncle said he talked to Danny McCray after that loss, and he said, "Man, I'm just mad because I gotta just settle for another Sugar Bowl instead of national championship." I would have liked to see his reaction on that plane you talking about when y'all found out West Virginia lost that game and y'all were going
hmm
to the Natty. I would have loved to see his reaction. Danny McCray from Westfield High School in Houston. Yeah, great player, bro. Great player. I got a couple more questions for you, Ryan. I'll get you out of here. Um, you talk about the Perrilloux Passing Academy, and you talk about working with Marlon Favorite at Conquer Sports. How is it giving advice to players now when you see them compared to when Marlon Favorite came to you and asked you to do it and you were kind of hesitant about it?
um, well, before Fav ever came and asked me, I had started my coaching career with Core Six back in 2012 and 2013 um, with a guy named Lars Sears. And that's when I first got into coaching. Fav also worked with Lars as well. But at the same time, we was all still playing football. Um, and so we've been talking to kids and been doing things. But for a while, I had went into my steady job, just life. I was a school teacher at East St. John, coaching football there, and I was taking care of other things at the time. I wasn't like focusing on too much outside of just what I was focusing on. And so when Faith came got me off the couch, I appreciated that. And when I say the couch, she actually just got me back being open to wanting to work more with the world and more with kids from out of state, and I got back more productive, and that's my take on that. Faith was a great guy. He was my roommate in college. Me and Faith played pro ball together. It seemed like everywhere I went, I ran into Faith. We always played ball together. We coached together. We was roommates together, and now we still coaching together. A humble young man. You couldn't ask for a better friend. Just always got your back, and I appreciate it.
Last question, and I'll get you out of here, my friend. You played in the NFL, you got a Super Bowl championship with the New York Giants. What advice would you give anyone whose dream is to make it to the NFL, but it doesn't happen?
Well, if it don't happen, it just didn't happen. It ain't your fault it didn't happen. Somebody else had to make a decision. Because if you'd have made the decision, it would have happened. So you just gotta understand that it wasn't your decision it didn't happen. Now, if you didn't do everything in your power to control what you can control and it didn't happen, then that's something you had to think about to yourself behind closed doors. But if you know you've done everything it is to succeed and everything it took to make it and you didn't make it, that was not your decision. And then you move forward from that.
Most definitely. Ryan Perrilloux, man. We truly appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you so
Yes.
much. I love you, my brother. I do.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
All
sir.
right,
Thank
Ryan.
you,
Call me
Trey.
Derek.
Respect. You have a good one.
All right. The great Ryan Perrilloux. And man, learning about his life story a little bit, I never knew he was shot. He got shot. I never knew that. And man, you got to thank God for keeping this guy around. And as you can see, he's helping the youngsters, giving them advice, training them. And he had his ups and downs also, but he sat there and told you that, how that was able to change his life and everything, man. And this was a great talk with Ryan Perrilloux. If you never saw him play, go on YouTube, look up his highlights. I don't know. When I tell you, from my perspective, he and Brock Berlin are the two greatest quarterbacks ever in the state of Louisiana for high school football. Ever. I will. Jawan Johnson is great. He's a GOAT. But those are my two. And
Mm.
seeing him play in person, my gosh, man, it was just a show. It was a show. And if you go watch the documentary for the East St. John football team during Ryan Perrilloux's senior year, you see how Reserve and Laplace shut the city down just to
Yep.
be at that game. And when they played at Destrehan, when they played at Hornville, you had to get to East St. John a little early, just like getting to Hornville early when they played Destrehan or East St. John. You had to get there early, park in that big old field outside the stadium, just to have a parking spot because it would be packed. And just seeing that guy play, man, was just phenomenal. VK, I'll let you go first. Your thoughts on Ryan Perrilloux?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, man, Perrilloux coming from a rough spot in Laplace slash Reserve, Louisiana in itself, for him to just continue to thrive, to overcome a lot of things, overcome a lot of distractions and all that stuff. I mean, this was really huge for him to continue to thrive through that. And watching him as a player, he was amazing in itself. Like, you know, no, I'm like, I get like I would definitely put Perrilloux as like probably one of the best quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Brock Berlin was good, but he's not number two on my list. But
That's fine.
but everybody has their different opinions. But
Yes, we do.
regardless, regardless of the fact, I think Perrilloux was amazing in itself, and for what he did all around, and for him to just put you know put East St. John, on another level more than anything else. That was amazing. You look at him. You look at Deron Thomas that he played with at running back. I mean, amazing athletes they have had on. Rydell Williams, a lot of great
Roy
athletes.
Dell.
That's what I just said. Roydell Williams,
Yeah, that's what he
and
said.
all,
I think
and
that
also
right. Okay.
yeah, Roydell Williams, and also we can't forget about the receipt DeQuell Williams. That's another one. Can't forget about it. DeQuell, if I get it right, DeQuell Williams. He
Did he go to
played at
LSU too?
Auburn. He
Auburn.
would he
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 was
went to
all
Auburn
yeah.
with Auburn, and I mean he and his story in itself was unbelievable for him to try to overcome to get where he needed to get. But
Mhm.
because of Larry Daughtry. But regardless of the fact, you know, East St. John had a lot of great athletes. Ryan Perrilloux just really kind of set the tone and taking things to another level with the East St. John Wildcats, and he had a nice career in college. What you can say after all you overcome, and that you are a national champion, a super not just that, an SEC champion, a national champion, and a Super Bowl champion,
And an LHSAA
and
Hall
a
of Fame.
LHSA Hall of Famer. So it's amazing in itself. Got to love his story, and I wish him the best that he could continue as a go forward.
Before I go to George Pepper Seldom, let me say this. Kurt Davenport, Leonard Valentine, Mickey Joseph, yeah, they were good. They ain't got nothing on Ryan Perrilloux. I'm sorry. They ain't got nothing on Ryan Perrilloux. George Peppers.
So he's putting Leonard Valentine in that conversation too. I saw him I went to school with him, Moon
Really?
Valentine.
Hmm.
Dude was transcendent. In the 80s, he did things quarterbacks today were taught to do. He was such a dual threat. He had a cannon for an arm. I get where Celtics going. But Perrilloux, look, Ryan Perrilloux is what he was. I wish he'd have won a state title because that would have been his biggest stage in high school with what he had to overcome at East St. John and, Coach Dotrieve being the influence that he was, is and was for him. I think Ryan Perrilloux is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. Put Moon in that conversation. But you put Brock Berlin, and I don't know if VK agrees with me or not, but there's another eventual quarterback I think was better than Brock. And it's the guy that originated that offense, Josh Booty. He was the originator of that offense. They was the first to put Evangel on the map, and they won numerous state titles with him. Berlin was very good, but he couldn't follow it up in Miami when he went there. When he got to Miami, it was a meddling career. Booty was a great baseball player, dual threat, football and baseball, and went to baseball first, then went to football. But going back to Ryan, at LSU, and I asked the 07 question, it just came to my head. I was like, man, what the heck? That was one of the questions I didn't put in the chat, but I thought about today, and I just completely blanked. I was like, man, because I remember I could share a story, quick story. That night, my brother and I had went to Vegas that summer, and future bets and everything else. I told my brother split this with me. We're gonna bet LSU to win the national championship. Future bet. We got 9-1 odds. So they lost two. They didn't lose a game in regulation that year. Remember, the two losses were triple overtime to Kentucky. Andre Woodson was a man child that game, and Arkansas. How do you stop Darren McFadden and Felix Jones? No one could. Those guys were racehorses in that backfield, and that LSU defense got staggered.
LSU
So
wasn't healthy either. They weren't healthy.
no, they were missing dudes. Yeah, they were missing, but no, they were a tough matchup even if they were healthy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yes.
I mean, so they beat Tennessee, and I'm at WGSO where I used to work, and I'm board operator. They had just went to syndication, and we had to make sure no glitches and all that. So I'm watching the Pittsburgh game, and I'm like, man, they're winning. It's early. All right, they get to the fourth quarter, they're in front. I'm like, oh, it's time to be a Panthers fan. Here we go. Come on, finish this off. And I wasn't a fan of Rich Rodriguez because of what happened at Michigan. I didn't want to start all that because of that embarrassment in the Outback Bowl against Mississippi State. I'm going to hold that against him. Yeah, he's a good coach and he's done great work at Jacksonville State. But after Pitt won, my brother calls me. What's going to happen? I said, dude, they're winning the national championship. We just got to cash in. I knew at that point, I said they're going to get picked to play Ohio State and beat the brakes off of them and win the title. And they did. But to watch Perrilloux is to watch greatness. And
Yeah.
you know, he's got a national championship, a Super Bowl championship with my Giants. Just saying. I mean, don't hate, appreciate. But this was a great interview. And ladies and gentlemen, this was the first of many interviews that we will have this month. It is our second annual Legends Month. And we've got two more outstanding interviews tomorrow nights with more legends. So stay tuned. Jared, right back to you.
Definitely. Lindsey Scott, Austin Tyler. Lindsey Scott's up there. Lindsey Scott is up there. But I don't have it with Brock Berlin and Ryan Perrilloux.
Nope.
I like Lindsey Scott myself, but I can't put him over Keaton Thompson. I'm sorry. I can't.
You can't put Lindsey Scott over Keaton Thompson?
No.
It's interesting he says
It's
that because Keaton.
It is an interesting discussion in itself. You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't
Lindsey
disagree with you.
was a great quarterback. He was great. But what Keaton did in those last 2 years, especially against Destrehan in the state championship, was freaking criminal.
It's about West Monroe weekend.
And then you have to think. In the Destrehan game.
Because I know they didn't play Destrehan in no state championship. I know
no, they played West Monroe and they hung 50.
I'm saying they played Destrehan
on the way to the Superdome. They beat Destrehan and went on the road and blew them out.
I'm talking about those particular two games. That game there, remember, Destrehan was up 13-0
early.
13-0 early. And Keaton Thompson and Landry Walker scored 50 unanswered in the first half. Anytime Ken Trahan says at the end of the broadcast, I've seen some great football players in my day in my career, but this is the best all-around football player I have ever seen. So
Teton?
not yes. He said that after
Another
the
guy.
broadcast.
Okay.
I'm like, bruh, he ain't saying it for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
He was
he was
just
great.
that good. And I remember Keaton the year before when they played Carr. For him, the comeback that they made in that game, including him scoring the game, like I think the game clinching 45-yard touchdown and the 2-point conversion when he leaped in the end zone. I mean, bruh, amazing what I've seen. But regardless of the fact, this guy can definitely be up there as top 5 quarterbacks all time. He's definitely was an awesome quarterback, and especially amazing what he does for his size.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsey Scott up there with me. He was that was so special to watch. Y'all got Keaton
He
over
was.
Lindsey, not me. But like I said, Ryan Perrilloux, Brock Berlin are my top 2 quarterbacks in this state of all time. But hey, we all got different opinions. It's all good. It's all good. Tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 more guests for you all. 2 more tomorrow. First one at 7:30 is former Leesville High School running back and former LSU running back who went on to play in the NFL for a little bit. Um, we have the one and only Michael Ford. And right after Michael Ford, ladies and gentlemen, another great. Played at L.W. Higgins High School, played at LSU, drafted to the Cowboys, and played for the Saints also in the Bengals. The one and only Skylar Green. Oh yeah, Skylar Green, the guy I say is the closest thing to Chiron Carey. Same offense, y'all. I'm just saying, both that quarterback. But anyway, we have those 2 guys tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Be right here to see it, starting at 7:30. Can't wait. Any last words, fellas?
Well, what a great way to start Legends Month. Ryan Perrilloux, you know, straight unadulterated, straight everything laid out. What a way to set this tone for this Legends Month, man. I'm looking forward to seeing and talking with all these other athletes. We still got some other guests we're trying to book and everything else. We still working and try to get them out there, man. So trust me. And seldom seen, a couple of the players you're talking about, yeah, it's way before our time, but we love to have some of those older
No,
guys, and
he
we
supposed
work.
to get no. He supposed to get Cordell Stewart for me. He's supposed to
I
get
have two.
Cordell
I
Stewart.
have 2 more. I have 2 more for Legends Month if we can book them. I'm going to tell you guys about it
Tell us,
after we get off the air.
tell us in the chat. Tell us in the chat.
Tell the chat.
So that's what I'm saying when we get off the air.
Okay, I got you. But
Right.
yes,
But I
Sheldon, Cordell
right.
Stewart.
Cordell Stewart. So, but at the same time, we're looking forward to having all these other guests on our show, and to tell their stories. And this is where we tell their stories right here on the Ash It Out show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this time we're doing football, we're doing basketball, either sports this time because hey, we got to expand it a little more. But this is a good way we are setting the tone.
That's right. Last word, George.
As VK said, piggybacking. I mean, this was a heck of a way to start Legends Month, and we do it in July. And once we finish Legends Month, it's almost that time, boys. Football season, and guess what that means? The Hash It Out Show Game of the Week, Season 2, coming up. It's gonna be some fun stuff. This is our version of transitioning into football. And, obviously we're going to interview more legends and looking forward to talking to Michael Ford and Skylar Green. I saw Skylar Green's playoff game his senior year at West Jeff when they lost. Higgins against, was it Baton Rouge Catholic, I think, when they lost here at Memphis. It was in the number that night. And, yeah, he was special.
Yep.
Skylar Green. And then Michael Ford. Leesville put out some running backs. Cecil Collins, him, Michael Ford. Yeah, the Wampus Cats. That's no slouch, So, with that said, looking forward to running it back with you guys tomorrow night. And we get 2 legends for the price of 1. We're going to have some fun tomorrow. Uh-oh.
Yes, we are. I'm here. Yes, we are. We'll have a lot of fun. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Hash It Out Show. Big thank you to one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever come out of the state of Louisiana, Ryan Perrilloux. Truly appreciate it. We're back tomorrow, 7:30, right here on the Hash It Out Show. Y'all take care.
Welcome to Bayou AV Security. My name is Rusty Mathern, proud owner and operator. We specialize in providing top-notch audio solutions, advanced security cameras, reliable internet services, and stunning permanent holiday lighting. At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. We are locally owned and conveniently located on the West Bank. As a fully licensed business, we take pride in delivering quality service you can trust. You can see our exceptional work showcased in the Parade of Homes. Experience the Bayou difference firsthand. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
Thank you for watching the